All right, let's check this thing out. Be right back. All right, all appears to be well. So my pieces have had the overnight to dry. There was one little flaky spot right there that I'm gonna sand down some more. There's a little bit of a ridge over it. Over here is fine. Over here, there's a little bit of a ridge I want to sand down. Then I got to make sure to prime the bottoms here and then some spots that I missed. Clean that up a little bit. So yeah, just back at it. Everything else is good. I do need to double check everything to make sure I got primer everywhere I need there to be. Primer application yesterday was a little weird because that was the first time I used airbrush thinner in the primer, so it came out a little too liquidy because it had a little too much fluidity to it. So I'm gonna go back and double check everything after I get this thing prepped. I'm not gonna worry about this inside because you're not gonna see it. Just mainly back here. So I'm using a 400 grit sanding sponge. Sometimes at this stage it's like you're not gonna see the imperfections until you get primer on it, and then the primer actually kind of helps show you your low spots. So it's like you just keep rubbing until you don't see black anymore. It's pretty much the idea. I'm happy with the blend. Like between the sanded spot and the knot and the textured. So it's got a nice transition. It's barely noticeable. Unless you're looking really hard. Once I get some color and some light and shadow on this thing, you're not going to see it. But you will see this little hump. I want to try to get rid of that. And there's a couple spots in the front in those little bitty folds where I couldn't really sand very well. Those look kind of got some bumps, so I want to get those. But a little bit more prep work, and then I think we'll be ready to move on to a little bit of this, and then I can definitely start painting some of the other stuff. I'll start working on the base today while I'm waiting for these little primer bits to dry. At this point on the base, I'm going to start hand priming it because they're just a lot of little details and stuff. So yeah, so I'm going to start hand priming the whites. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I should just do all the rock first. Like go ahead and paint it black, do the dry brush, then do the white primer, then do my white base coats with the airbrush. That way there's some overspray on already finished rock. So I think that's going to be the plan. And then the very last thing I'll do is the chrome base. So Yeah, I think that's going to be the plan. I'm just going to go ahead and gloss black it, dry brush it, seal it, and then go and do the rest of the lava and the smoke. And I got some stuff to do on the saber too, so I got plenty to keep me busy today. Nice quiet Sunday. Just trying to enjoy it. Before the work week starts again. Yeah, so see how what I'm saying? Like anywhere you've got like little stubborn pieces of, see that little spot of black right there? That's just telling me that there's a low spot that I haven't quite gotten to yet. Yeah, I had some resin leaping. So there was some trapped resin in this little bad spot here in the back. There was some trapped resin in it, and it seeped last night. So I cleaned it up and then cured it a little longer to seal everything in there a little bit better. So now it should be good. I should be over in my sanding enclosure doing this, but I'm over here now. I'm not kicking up that much dust, so it should be fine. Go ahead and give, this was mostly good, but I'm gonna go ahead and give this a little bit of a scratch down just to carry it over there. Oh no, got some more weep right there. Look at that. Couldn't have put that much resin in there. I suppose there's more than there should be, so I'm gonna go cure this real quick. Must be a void or a gap in there or something. Alright, that should do it. Still feel like there's spot there I should keep sanding, but it feels, I don't know, I can feel it. I can feel a little texture there. Okay, now it feels better. All right. Support spots. Like I said, sometimes you can't see this stuff until you get some primer on it. This too is another one of those steps where I used to be a little nervous about priming and then sanding and then priming again. But the way the primer just kind of settles, it levels everything back out. So as long as you don't, like, well, I mean, basically anything you prime over, you're going to see, but the new primer coat will blend right into the current primer coat pretty easily. So as long as you don't leave like a huge step between the gradient, or between the old primer and the where you're sanding, if that makes sense. Like, it's just got to be kind of a nice smooth fade out. It's just a nice gradual finish, not like leave a big chunk, you know. I do feel like, though, after doing this statue, I've got a better handle on how to do the sabers. Now, that's the this is the third saber. It's the third saber that I've done, but I think that solution that I worked up with the jewelry resin, I think was the best I've done so far. Obi-Wan's, I tried cutting it at the hilt and reattaching it like a dumbass. That thing is terrible. Mace Windu, his saber's good, except I should have straightened it out a little more before I cured it, because it's got a little bit of a curvature to it. So those two are not great. But this one, I think, is actually pretty decent. Oh, do I? Plug my phone in. I'm gonna have to clean this whole station again too before I get into paint. Give everything a good dusting, so I'm not picking up, texture in the paint job. Which is why I should also be in the sanding enclosure doing this, but the lighting is better out here at the desk, so my sanding, I do need to work on getting better lighting in that sanding enclosure. And when I say getting, I mean I have it laying around, I'm pretty sure. I have some LED strips I could just plug in, but I'm just too lazy to do it. That edge was actually pretty good. This side, you see, I got some bumps here in these little things. I thought it wouldn't matter, but I'm gonna have to go. I gotta go and sand these all down anyway. So let's do it. Can't really reach into there to get that, so that might, we'll just have to let it slide. But the other areas here that I can get to. The problem with this is it's down in a trench. That's where I need to get to. Just so small. I'm just going to have to take all this down a peg. Or I could use some folded paper. If I can get down, I want to hold on to I want to keep the edges of the trench. I just need to get down in there. It's like I don't want to wipe out the folds. You know what I mean? That seems to work. It's very tiny. It's very hard on the fingers, but that'll do. What is up, DL? How's it going? I am trying to get this last bit of prep work done so that I can get started painting today. So I got a little bit more prep work to do. Sanding down these seams one more time to get rid of these little bulges. And those will be nice. And then while this is drying, I can start on the other stuff. It's going well, man. Just it's a beautiful day outside. Hear the birds tweeting. Just enjoying my Sunday. I think I'll be able to make some progress today on this, which is nice. There's one spot right here. That I'm trying to sand down because the primer still being there is indicating a low spot. going to remove all of those. All right, now I got to do this one. This is the tricky one. Let's go this direction. Trying to hold on to these little folds here, so I can't just obliterate the whole area, because then I'll grind down the folds. I'm trying to just stay inside the little channel, and it's really starting to hurt my fingers. So close to done though. And it's not about pressure, like you don't have to push down hard, but it's more about like just keeping the paper moving, you know. Yeah, my kid and wife were out having a driving lesson, so and running some errands. So I didn't have anything else going on, and thought I'd just go ahead and jump on into it, see if I can make a good amount of progress today. I'll probably take tomorrow off. I usually take Mondays off just because, you know, Monday, and I've got a pretty busy Monday planned. I got a bunch of stuff happening, so I'll probably not be on tomorrow. I'm gonna try to spend some time with it today. It's weird. It's like guilt is the wrong word, but there's like I don't know, like a pressure that to get these to keep making these statues now. It's weird. It's a good kind of pressure though. I mean, I'm not saying like it's a bad thing. I'm just saying that like whenever I'm just like a little more self-conscious of, you know, when I stream, or my frequency rate of producing videos. Oh, which I did just cross 2,500 subs yesterday, which is pretty awesome. Very exciting. I know it probably doesn't mean much, but got to start somewhere, right? Commitment. Okay, that's a good word. I like commitment. Oh, I wish I could get into that little spot right there. It's just out of reach. Just where I can't. I mean, I like I said, I try not to put too much pressure on it when I'm sanding it. It really is more about just like the repetition of rubbing it back and forth. But you got to get a little bit of leverage in there. That spot where it's at is just not easy to reach. Fully. Part of the way. I did kind of glob a big spot of resin right there, so I'm gonna have to figure it out. The this paper kind of gets in there. Let me clean this. Here you go, use the airbrush exhaust. Thanks, DL. It's like a super light amount of pressure, but it is working, sort of. It is a very pleasant noise. Come on. All right, there's just one spot right there in the curve that I absolutely just cannot get to. Because there's nothing in there to put pressure in that direction, but I think the rest of that's looking pretty good. All right, well, I'm not going to do this much work and then leave that. It's like right behind his arm, and so you probably wouldn't even notice it, but it's right there and accessible, so I'm going to go ahead and get this. Yeah, I try to do at least one circular pass afterwards, but these spots over here are just all linear in nature. So, but you're right. I need to not cut grooves into this thing, or maybe actually in this particular instance, maybe that would be a good thing. You know, since it is like a fabric-y, because I mean, there's a little bit of texture in it. It's not too much, so I'm not worried about holding on to it. It's nothing obvious. Cool. Let's get this dusted. Big soft brush hat. Just use my airbrush box to collect the dust, since I'm not in my enclosure. My enclosure is filthy. So yeah, that's much better. Oops. Sorry. Didn't mean to smack you. Thanks, DL. Yeah, I think this is going to look nice. Sorry, I know it's loud. Oh. Okay. Yeah, you're all right. Oh, got a lot of dust in there. All right. I think let all the water. I'll let all the dust settle in here, and then I'm gonna come back and get right back to it. I'll be right back. Start priming. All right, let's get these bad boys primed. All right, today's primer application is much better. Yesterday I was absent-minded and I thinned out my primer, but had the pressure way too high. And I was also using a whole lot of thinner. And I shouldn't have been. So today, I've cut back on both. And it's much better now. Primer's a little bit thicker than paint, I think. And so I usually spray it at a higher pressure, but since I'm thinning it down instead, I'm spraying it at about 20 psi right now. I usually typically spray around 20 to 18. What is the order you do things? I usually like to work from the bottom up. So I usually start with the base. I work my way into the statue, up to the portrait. So that's typically what I do. It just depends on the model. Depends on what I'm working on. This is going to be weird because I got to spray the bottom of this too. So I'm going to end up doing several hand holds here. Yeah, when I actually get started painting, I do like to start from the base, just because I think it sets the tone for the statue, kind of gets the color palette going. It's a nice warm. It's kind of like a warm up for me. I guess it's kind of the mentality of it. But also, yeah, like I said, it depends on the statue and how many pieces I'm working on. There's a whole lot to bounce around between. The order really doesn't really matter. But my standard operating procedure is to start from the bottom. All right, hang this up this time. Dry. Can. Oh, I don't assemble as I go. I learned the hard way that is not a good approach, because some pieces have to be assembled in specific order. So I do not recommend that. Wait till you get all your pieces finished first. Oh, come on. I can't get this hook in there sufficiently enough. I don't feel like it's going to break and fall out. All right. That'll do it. That'll do. But I do try to think through, like, um, I need a little bit right there. I do try to think through drying time, like while one thing is drying, like what else I can be working on. So a little bit of a stagger, to do it. So like right now, while I'm waiting for these body parts to dry, I'll be working on the first. I'm gonna do the saber, the inking and the sealing of the saber part of the LED part, and while those are drying, then I can start working on the base, and then by the time I circle back around, everything else will be done. So as far as like production, uh, you know, order, I would recommend that. Is like just thinking through it, thinking a little bit about like what you can be doing while other stuff is drying. This is wholly unnecessary, but I'm gonna go ahead and do it just so in my brain I got a nice even coat. There we go. Alrighty. All the other parts were primed and good, so it was just a couple spots on the legs and on this torso. With that, let's get this airbrush clean. Then we can lay down some ink. And I'll let you watch my primer dry. I do like doing the inking on these on transparent resin. I think it turns out really nice. Now this particular instance, I'm leaving it kind of foggy on purpose, so that when the lightsaber's turned off, it's got, you know the ink's not going to show unless there's a little bit of haziness to it. just so there's a little bit of separation in there, or a little saturation, I should say, since I'm not doing like straight transparent, like fully transparent. Because then you see that, I mean, I still need to figure out a way to hide the little copper wire inside of the saber. I might could paint it white or something, but I feel like that would just make it even more obvious. Maybe an off-white color. I don't know. Maybe on the next saber I do, I'll give that a try, because it would be nice to be able to hide it a little bit. Or I guess paint it a little light blue so it kind of blends in with the blue. Excuse me. That's an alcohol wash, because the ink is alcohol based, so prepping everything with water is kind of dumb. I do like to kind of like pre-wet my airbrush needle. Just run a little straight alcohol or water through there, depending on what I'm spraying. That just gives the needle a coat so that it doesn't, it's not so grabby when the paint starts flowing through. I did it. I'm gonna say that's good. All right, so let's go to the alcohol ink here. And there's a blue. There's a sapphire blue. That's probably more purpley. I don't want that. Yeah, that's green. All right, I think it's blue. I don't have a whole lot of choices here. Oh, this is sky blue. What sky blue is? I don't care. Doesn't matter. We're gonna go with that. And so for this, oh, come here. Like I said, if I wanted this to be like truly transparent, I would take a little more clear resin and just, run it along there, and cure that, and that would make this tube like super, super clear. But I don't want to do that, because I want a little bit. There's going to be a little bit of all this smokiness in here. Once I ink over it, it's going to look like it'll give the when it's turned off, it'll give it a little bit of like texture and saturation. So when it's turned on, it'll just look like a little bit of flux in the light. Should work out nicely. There are a couple spots before I get too far ahead of myself. There's a couple little supports in here that I need to remove. Ouch. I haven't looked closely at the hilt. I've been so worried about the saber part. I haven't even looked at this hilt. Oh, I want to break that. All right, let me see the purse. You know what? I don't even think any of this matters because so much of this is hidden. The support's kind of melded with the shaft right here a little bit, so I'm kind of just restoring the edge, carving it out. Again, nobody's going to see this. I don't even know why I'm doing it. Almost got it. There it is. How's light? Oh, this is all. This is the. You're talking about the light in here, the LED in here. This thing. This is probably the best saber that I've made. This is only the third. This is only the third lightsaber that I've made. But I think this is by far the best. I definitely have a technique for it now. Trimming off that extra bit and using the jewelry resin to make the rounded tip. That's the way to go. That is the way to go. Because there's just no way in hell. I mean, I guess you could if you kept your solder really small, like you kept your solder bead really small. I don't have the skills and ability to do that. So, but if you did, you could use the little supplied LED hole, in the model and just kind of shove it all in. That's what I did for Mace Windu, but I think the hole was bigger. Alternatively, you could make the hole larger, before you print it. So like I made the hole larger, and I did not make the hole larger, but I did add hollowing all the way through, so that I could feed the cord through. So I added that in the 3D file before I printed it. Highly recommend doing that. But yeah, other than that, like I said, I think this is probably the best saber that I've made to date, which I guess makes sense because it is the third try. Trying to break this off, and I don't want to. the support here where the little holster hook is on the lightsaber. These little discs. All right, I'm being way too picky about this because it's all the way like up in his sleeve. You can't even see it, the whole back of the hilt and everything. Which kind of sucks because this is cool, one of the coolest lightsabers. What I love about lightsaber design is that, like, if you look at the characters, how their personalities are kind of reflected in their sabers and how they design them. And then, especially in the case of Anakin, once he builds his new Vader, once he builds his Vader saber, there are still elements of this design in his Vader saber, like the raised grip on the back, the little half, shield on the front. There's just a lot of similarities in it. I think that's really cool. It seems, and it's well thought out too. Even like the Emperor, his saber being kind of small and sleek and you know uh, easily compact, so he can hide it in his he can conceal carry. That shit makes a lot of sense. But it's also like kind of gold and ornate, where it's like kind of got some regality to it. Same with like Count Dooku, his curved his curved saber is based on a French battle saber, some European battle saber. I don't know if it's French, but it's definitely based on a battle saber design with the curvature. And yeah, so that's pretty cool. And fucking Christopher Lee, he is actually a world class fucking swordsman. Like, he is an actual like competitive swordsman, which I thought was really cool. And I think he's like descendant from like Charlemagne or some shit too. I don't know exactly, but anyway, I do think it's neat that the production that the lightsaber designs and the characters kind of have some connectivity to them. I mean, Mace Windu and Samuel Jackson, shit's purple. That's awesome. That's definitely his character. Definitely on brand. Sanding down some of these little support marks here. So you're not going to see any of this. I'm really just wasting my time here. That's enough. I think you will see this part sticking out. So you want to make sure I get this as good as I can. Can't see it. And one more little nerd detail: the way that the top emitter on his lightsaber goes in and then kind of comes like flares back out. That's very much like a Obi-Wan design. It's like you could see the influence from from Obi-Wan in his design as well. Super nerdy, I know. But I actually have a book on just the lightsaber designs and kind of like the history of them. Stuff. Super nerdy, I know. But it was a gift. I love it. All right, seriously, that's way good enough, Bob. And stop anytime. It will be satisfactory. I'll give it one last sand to knock down any loose bits. It's never good enough, you know. God, that space in there is so rough. I know I'm going to prime over it, so it'll be fine. Right now, it just looks so toe up. There we go. There. Oh yeah, that would be awesome. That would be very cool. Yeah, if they could get into like Darth Revan and like his storyline, that would be awesome. Fucking Keanu Reeves would be awesome playing that part. You know, before he gets too old. That's another thing too. If they're gonna start making this stuff, they've got like perfect casting right now for some spots, and but the actors are getting a little up in their age, and you gotta use them a little bit. Get them out of the stable. Let's go. All right, that's good enough. So now we're going to take this alcohol ink over to the airbrush box. Make that lightsaber blue. I suppose I should do my bottle intro over here since I'm going to be using that for the cut. Alcohol ink. This is a really good shake. Alcohol ink goes pretty far, and I usually spray it at like a 14 because it's straight liquid, so it sprays pretty easily. And it really does not take much. All right. Very light touch. A little bit spotty down here on this end. There you go. Hey, what's up, Mando? A little bit more here. Doesn't seem like it's quite the even coat that I want. There we go, that's good. Cool. I'm gonna let that dry. And then give that a gloss varnish in just a second. Oh, actually, there's no sense in rushing it. I'll just let that dry and I'll just move on to painting something else. You do have to rinse this. You have to wash ink out pretty immediately because it will stain everything. Cool, we're all clean. All right, now let's get into let's paint this base. So I've decided that I'm gonna do the rocks totally done first. So I'm gonna go in here with some, where's it at? Some gloss black. Since these are gonna be like volcanic rocks, they don't need too much detail because they're basically just gonna be black. And then I'm gonna hit them with this uniform gray. Yeah, I'm gonna hit them with the uniform gray for a dry brush, and then that's just gonna give me the edges back, you know. And then I'll seal it, and then I'll go in and start doing the base coat or the foundation primer is the word I'm looking for. The white primer coat on like the lava and the smoke. I'm gonna brush those in. Then I'm gonna go back in with an airbrush and just well, at that point everything will be primed. I'm going with the airbrush with like cold white, and that'll give me my glow, like the OSL glow, before I start laying in all the lava color and everything else. Yeah. I wonder if I should do the smoke first, and then that way when I do the lava, if there's any overspray, it'll kind of tint the smoke as well. Although smoke won't really carry. Well, I guess it would carry a little bit of tint. Meh, I don't know. I'll get to that part later. But anyway, first step, we're gonna get this gloss black on here. Get these alcohol inks out of the way. Actually get some painting done. Oh yeah, that seam on that coat looks much better. You can barely even see it. That makes me happy. This out of the way here. This is a relatively small statue. Like this isn't like a even 1/6 scale. Like it's relatively tiny. So hopefully I'll be able to get through this pretty quickly. They do. They really do love the smoke. But I mean, yeah, like I think it's going to add a nice little touch because otherwise this would have been a little bit more of a plain. I mean, it would have just been like lava and black rock. So having the little puffs of smoke in this particular instance, I think actually break it up a little bit. So I'm pretty happy with that. But yes, I agree. They do overuse the little smoke effect, shape, or whatever. All right, since this does not require any level of accuracy at this point, I'm just going to go in with my paint mover. Big square brush. Also figuring out what is rock and what isn't. I could do this with the airbrush, but all these little nooks and crannies, like you end up just having to flood it. And so it's actually more efficient to do it with a brush, in my opinion. And like I said, since this is just a base coat and accuracy is not really something I need to be concerned with at the moment, just slopping it on here. Yeah, that's like a lava run in the middle of the rock. That's pretty cool. Yeah, that's gonna be I'm gonna need to just trace all this out once I get past this stage and go in and start putting the white on, because there's a whole lot of like little lava spots in here, more than it looks. Right now it's all just kind of blending in. And I switched to using distilled water to thin my paints. So I'm interested to see if it really makes any level of difference. I think it should. I mean, it kind of makes sense that the impurities in your in your tap water would cause your paint to, you know, have differences. That tracks. I just don't know if it's enough to warrant, going to the grocery store and buying distilled water every time I need to reload my waters. So I'm going to run through a gallon of it on this model in particular, and see if it does make a difference or not with my painting experience. And I will let you know. Oh, I think the fam's back from the driving lesson. Yo. I was just eyeballing the seam on the back here. A little bit of a rise, but after I get some color on there, you're not going to see it. It's not bad. I don't think I could get it any flatter. I suppose I could, but it's not worth it. It's good enough. Good enough. It's the back. You're not even going to see the back. Oh, let's see how the front turned out. Oh, that front is much, much better. Remember all those little micro dots inside of there? That is much, much better. There's a little bit of a pocket, a little bit of a gap right there in the front, but again, not even worth dealing with. I'm happy with that. All right, let's get back into this. Just getting the lowdown on the driver training. Crazy how quickly time passes, man. My kids out there running around, driving, complaining about other drivers already. I can just do this like this now. Black on black. Oh, where'd my music go? Yeah, the back side of this still isn't perfect, but can't really, you're not gonna be able to tell. It's turned around. I think that's lava right there. I can't really tell. That's lava. That's a rock. That's a rock. That might be lava. I don't know. Here a little bit. I don't feel like I got in here, got around these little engines good enough with the primer. We'll just give these a quick black covering. I'm gonna be chroming all that anyway, so. Or actually, I don't think I'm gonna go with the steel. I really dig in the after doing the steel metal color from Vallejo that I used on Mr. Freeze. I really dig that, the darkness of the metal. So I think I may do that here. The steel. Oh yeah, yeah, I saw that. He's wearing the little crash test dummy suit. That was pretty hilarious, actually. Oh, lava. Alright. Pretty sure got all of that. Here we go. Let's give that a few minutes to dry. And the ink on that saber should be good to go. So yeah, let's get that varnished. Then do I want to tape off and then, or I just want to just brush burn it? What happened?
I stabbed my hand.
All right, I'm back. My wife stabbed herself in the hand trying to open a bottle of mouthwash. So I had to explain that when you're holding a knife, if you ever feel that it's pointing down and in towards any part of your body, down and in is bad. Up and away is good. Uh, she's okay. It was a flesh wound. She probably went a little deep, but there's nothing you can do about it. So it didn't go all the way through, so it's fine. Boy. All right, what was I doing? Oh, I was letting that black dry. Put a little varnish on this hand business. And then probably just brush prime that. Brush prime the hand. There's no sense in masking it off and going through all the rigmarole of airbrushing in there. All right, I'm going to go with this. Actually, you know what? Let's go with the premium varnish here. Where's it at? I'm gonna go with this premium gloss varnish. Oh yeah, did I already do this premium gloss varnish? Do it. I'm gonna put this on pretty thick, and this stuff does take it. It dries pretty quick, but it takes about 4 hours to like fully cure. Like it's dry to the touch after about 20 minutes. But to fully cure, it needs 4 hours or overnight. There we go. That looks pretty cool. Well, I've got to continue to let that base dry before I can dry brush it and move on. So let's paint something else while we wait. Maybe that big claw hand. Not that. I got some airbrush chrome. It's supposed to be mirror chrome. I think I'm doing it wrong, but I'm going to try to correct that right now. I think if I flood it, then it'll do what it's supposed to do. Because the way the mirror chrome, the non-airbrush version works, is that basically you can't really like manipulate it too much after you apply it. You pretty much just kind of have to blob it on there, and it pools, and that's what kind of gives the mirror effect. So I think the reason why I think the same should apply to the airbrush version. You're just piling it on with an airbrush versus piling it on with the brush. So I'm gonna give that a go to see if I can get a nice mirror finish, mirror like finish on this bit. Where is it? Chrome metal. There it is. Alcohol to thin and clean this paint. Any top coating could diminish the effect. Alright. Yeah, so I'm going to use this Green Stuff World Chrome Metal Airbrush. Like I said, I think the reason why it hasn't been working is because I've been a little too squeamish with it. I need to be a little more bold. All right, let's see how this works. Let's see what this do. You're supposed to like try to polish this up or what? I mean, it's a nice chrome, but I wouldn't say it's a mirror chrome. I feel like I'm putting it on pretty thick. All right, it's starting to chrome up, I think. Quick dry. So one more coat. Alcohol base, so it dries pretty quick. All right, I think that yeah, that's looking pretty mirroring now that I'm looking at it. It's throwing some light back at me. That's pretty good. Looks pretty chromy and robotic. Yeah, man, no, everybody's fine. I was just saying, my wife stabbed herself in the hand trying to open a bottle of mouthwash. She's fine. It was a flesh wound. It probably went a little deep, but it's all right. Thank you for asking. She's just always pointing the knife towards herself when she's doing stuff, and I don't understand it. But what can you do? I got this clean. I can only clean it with alcohol, so it's hard to tell. Alright, some water through there now. Alright, so yeah, I think that green stuff world chrome, you just have to really just kind of pile it on there. I mean, it's not a super huge difference than the Vallejo chrome. That's pretty good. I'm trying to find a good chrome that I'm trying to land on the chrome that I'm going to use for Silver Surfer. This is pretty good. I also tried the graphite powder effect, the graphite powder technique. I use that on my Thor, and it's good, but it's not bright. Like it's like a dark, rich kind of metal look. It's got a nice reflectivity in it, but it's a little darker than I think I like. This Green Stuff World Chrome has a nice brightness to it and pretty good reflectivity. So I think that's going to be the jam. Barbados Rex. I have never heard of that one. I mean, what I'd really like is like just a mirror finish chrome, but I have not been able to find one, and I've tried quite a few. I even have the non-airbrush version of this Green Stuff World because I bought this first, not realizing that like in order to apply it, you basically have to just like slop it onto your piece and let it dry. Like you can't go back and like if you leave too many brush strokes in it, it looks terrible. So it's like you basically just have to kind of almost dunk your part in it. It's made for like really small car parts, like for model car parts, like side mirrors or bumpers or shit like that. The airbrush version does work better through the airbrush, obviously. This does not spray through the airbrush very well at all. So anyway, tried both of these. The airbrush one works best, but still not super shiny as much as I want. I have all these other Green Stuff World metals too that it's a shame. I need to figure out how to work with these because I think some of these would look really good, like this antique gold when I get to Dr. Doom. All right, I'll check that one out. Barbados Rex. Huh? That looks pretty good. A few minutes to dry. That a few minutes to dry. Well, I suppose that's problem with that is I can't tell like what's wet and what's just gloss black. But I suppose I can start priming that. Since it doesn't really matter if it's totally dry. Sound like a weed dealer. There's a spot on this lightsaber that's not dry yet and looks kind of bad. You can tell if that's a spot of varnish or if it's a ink. It's gotta be varnish. But I don't want to mess with it until this thing is a little more dry. So leave it be for now. There's a little spot right there. I wonder, I need to let it it's just gravity pool in there or not. I may have to scuff that down. I hope not. That sucks. My temptation is to touch it, but I know that'll just make it worse. So I'll leave that. I'll leave that be. Actually, I think I'm going to lay it down just so gravity is not going to be an issue. Lay it down some way. There we go. Still going to be a problem, but there we go. All right. Suppose I could. I don't even know what color I'm going to be painting this. So let's see. I know I'm going to need the gloss black for his like outer part. His at this stage he's not totally black, but really dark brown. And I usually don't like to mix color or like mix my own colors specifically. But in this particular case, I might not have a choice. All right, this oak brown is probably a nice darkness. Mahogany saddle is going to be too red. just don't have much oak brown left. Might go see if there. I might wait and go to. I mean, I'm gonna be going in with some. Ooh, this is. Oh, this is a shader. That's why. Not gonna work. I may end up going to Hobbytown to find darker brown because I don't know if I like what I have on hand. I think I'll go with the oak brown. The boots will be black. I'm gonna go pull up some reference material. Yeah, the burnt umber is gonna work. All right, now I'm gonna need that. He's got some chrome bits on his belt. He's got black on. Got a leathery black, and then I may just do like a matte black. I'll do a matte black on the boots. A gloss. Gray is going to be on the rocks over there. Probably need a dark blue gray for highlights on the black. Let me go check. Let me check some reference material. I'm still kind of waiting for this to dry anyway. All right, yeah, 1 second. sorry, I'm over here talking. Yeah, so it's mostly like black and then a little bit of like a reddish brown and then a darker brown for the cloak and the inner part and his little belt area here. I can't tell if that was like a chrome or a bronze around his waist. Oh, it's 2 shades of brown on his waist. Oh, that sucks. I don't think I can use this oak brown, and I think this is what I need. But I don't think this is going to give me enough. I don't think I have enough paint. What's up, Glenn? Trying to decide if I've got enough of this oak brown to proceed with painting the body. Because I'm definitely going to do the gloss black substitute on the outer part. I don't have these shades. I just don't have all these shades of dark brown. So I think I'm going to go push it towards black. All right, so let's say I don't have enough that away. If I go with I can go with leather brown pants. I don't know if that's going to give me the red. I see, like that's really close. Since I'm kind of making it up anyway. No, I want to go mahogany on the pants. That's leather brown, way too bright. Oak I don't have. Dirt spatter. The dirt spatter is pretty close. So then the leathery parts I'm going to do in black. I still need 2 more shades of brown. The darkest brown is what I'll use for the cloak. I think that's going to be the chocolate brown for the cloak. And then I'm going to do dirt, spatter, or this burnt umber. I think it's going to be this burnt umber. Yeah, let's go with the burnt umber. So burnt umber is going to be brown number 2. So that's the dark. There's one. There's a little inner flap that will be the burnt umber. The mahogany is going to be the inner belt and his pants. The outer shell is going to be black. Boots are going to be black. Yeah, that should do it. And then by the time I go in with the black wash and the airbrush to kind of do the low lights, it'll tone down everything. It'll tone down everything quite a bit. All right, so that'll work. Then for the metal, it's not quite a bronze, or it's not quite a. It doesn't look like a stainless steel or any sort of bright metal. It's almost like a. It's almost like it's not a bronze, but like a tin plate. It's almost like this color. Tin plate chrome. I have a version of that. Gold. Almost a bronze. Maybe it is a bronze. No. I think I'm gonna end up just going Vallejo Chrome. Or wait. Do I have one over here? Copper. Kinda copperish. Yeah, I'll just go Vallejo Chrome. Just make that shit easy. All right. Now I kind of know what I'm doing. I had yet to just take the time to stop and check that for a second. All right. I'm pretty sure now I have my dark, medium pants. I want a gloss black as boots. I'll match that up to finish. All right. Yeah, this should be dry enough. Still looks wet because it's all shiny. I'm going here with some uniform gray on a dry brush. Hit the edges of these rocks. Going in with this big baddie here. A little bit of water. I don't like to start with completely dry bristles because the paint won't come off. So just saturate the bristles a little bit. It prevents the dry brush from looking powdery, which is a typical problem with dry brushing. Bristles all loaded up, and then we unload them. Yeah. I sent you a note back. I sent you a picture. I'm pretty sure of it's the colors that I used. Oh wait. But it's been a really long time since I from painting that statue. So, but I'm like 95% sure. I sent you a picture of the colors that I used. Can't see because this is so shiny. All right. Well, that looks like shiny volcanic rock to me. Now I'm going to give that a varnish. Go ahead and seal that in before I start doing the rest of it. But I do need to clean this brush out. Dry brushes do not want to let paint dry. You do not want to let paint dry in them because then they will cease being your dry brushes. They'll just be gunk. I didn't send you the color combo that I used for a skin tone blend because I did not like the skin tone that I did on that Captain America. He's way too. I wanted him to be like, you know, kind of a paler light skin, but he just looks sickly. Like I hadn't quite learned how to do washes, skin tone washes on him yet, because I did them early in my learning. In retrospect, I should have waited to do the Avengers series, but I was just so excited. I just wanted to do them. So they're not the best statues in my collection, even though they should be. I really messed up their skin tones just across the board in general. Although I did a good job, I do feel like I did a good job on the Hulk skin tones, but because that was mainly like airbrushing, you know, shadows and stuff. So that was my first foray into airbrushing shadows on the skin. I feel like I did a pretty good job on that one. Yeah, no sweat. I don't have any video reference to go back to either because it's I did that before I started recording stuff. So that was before my YouTube time. All right. So now I'm going to go in here with a little bit of gloss varnish. Seal this bad boy in. That way, if I'm doing the lava or there's any overspray, I can just wipe it off. That's why I'm gonna go ahead and seal it at this point. My microphone keeps flipping around on me. I'm sorry, guys. That's being loud. There we go. Let's get some of this gloss varnish on here. Oh, I still got silver in there, or chrome. That's not good. Maybe it was just in the cup. tell there's anything coming out. Does not seem like it. Guess I gotta add airflow improver to this too. There you go, that seems to be letting it out. Alright, sorry, fighting with my airbrush right now. It's really hard to see. There we go, now it's fine. All right, well, let's just keep rolling with the base coat. Yeah, there's one spot. Where the varnish piled up on that lightsaber, and it sucks because it's right there at the hilt. Alright, I'm gonna let that fully cure before I mess with it. But I'm gonna have to sand that down. Alright, so the pants have got to be the first thing I do. So that's going to be mahogany brown. Do. Definitely need to make a little hotkey message for when I'm cleaning my airbrush. Otherwise, it just looks like nothing's going on. But I promise you, stuff's happening. This mahogany brown shake. Yeah, so this mahogany brown has just a little bit of a reddish hue to it, which, according to the reference material, should be accurate. I'm going to go in here with some mahogany brown from Vallejo. And I just want to get these pantaloons. This is one of those instances where I'm moving faster than I should be. So I'm gonna simmer down a little bit. I am coming up on 3 hours of stream, but I'm okay actually. I'm gonna keep going. All right. Now, what should I do next? I suppose I can start to get some base coat white on the lava bits now. Gotta use primer on that because some of that stuff is still just raw resin over there. All right, airbrush is clean. What else can I guess? Like I said, I start priming those white pieces of lava and smoke. I'm gonna do that with a brush. That'll just be the easiest way to do it. Then I'll do one more white coat with the airbrush, so that there's some overspray for whenever I do the lava. All right. A little white surface primer. Don't really need to worry about diluting that, which is nice. Actually, I think I'll start over on this side and work my way that way. That way I can use this little spike as a handle. Just trying to be strategic with it. Some weird separation in this brush here. I have learned that no matter what you do with when you're priming with a brush, you always have to prime it. You're always going to need to make multiple coats. You just have to, especially with white. Although I suppose since a lot of this is going to be smoke and it's supposed to have a little variance in, you know, saturation, white and dark, it might not be a bad idea just to do one coat. Let some of the darkness play through. Might add to the smokiness of it. You know what I mean? Lots of little twists and turns in here. Back and get that again. Second pass. It's definitely gonna need it. But let's move on. Right? Yeah, it makes it so much easier. I mean, you saw just what I did out here earlier today. You know, that little tiny bit of sanding, it just made so much of a mess. It just made so much mess. Yeah, that was definitely one of the best purchases I've ever made. At least the one that has provided the greatest return on investment, in my opinion. I'm like, I'm gonna paint over that anyway. I don't even know why I'm bothering. That is going to be all silver, or not silver, steel. primer coat seems very liquidy, but that should make it easier to spread. There's all those air bubbles in there. Yeah, you definitely don't want, you want to like try to keep your paint area as dust and debris free as possible, because I have found out the hard way that that shit ends up in your paint. You're gonna do what? Okay. wanted to know what mic do I use. I'll have to. It was just a. It's like a Bluetooth, like a wireless. I don't know. I'll have to go look it up. It's in my Amazon. I'll have to. I don't remember exactly. Wait a second. Wait a second. Wait a second. Wait a second. Hold on. Because I'm a pack rat, you may. Grinder. I usually keep boxes like that. That's my jet fan. Nope, that's the camera box. I don't think I kept the microphone box then. Oh, wait. I spoke too soon. Oh, hey. I found the little case. I found the little case that it came in. This is all it says. Wireless microphone 13026-K2C. So you could try looking it up by model number 13026-K2C, or here's what it looks like. Here's a picture of it. But yeah, so basically I just got this little, you just have this little dongle that you plug in, and then that's what the microphone looks like, and it comes with two of them. It was pretty cheap too, because I didn't want to spend a whole bunch of money, doing that. And this has a lightning adapter. This is back when I had an old iPhone with lightning port, but it comes with USB adapters, like a little USB dongle. It comes with a USB little thing, so it'll go directly into a regular USB. They may have other versions that probably have like USB-C. So yeah, but that's basically it. I mean, it wasn't too much. I don't think I spent too much on that one. I'm happy with my cameras. I really like those. I got those from Amazon as well. But they're pretty nice quality, nice lightweight. Plug right into my little system. It's pretty easy to get it configured. And got a pretty good quality out of them. It's weird because the microphones themselves, you recharge those with USB-C. So, but the plug on the receiver is a lightning. It really kind of doesn't make much sense when you think about it. But I mean, clearly the manufacturer has USB-C because that's what the mics recharge on. So they have the ability to make those. So why does the receiver? Why isn't that a USB-C? Don't make no sense. Make it make sense. Sure, all of this is like lava bombs. Oh wait, not that. That's like a rock. Yeah, so basically it comes with two of them, so you keep one charged, and you keep one on the charger, and then the one that you're using, it'll go for about 5 hours if you're on it constantly. If it's just on for 5 hours, that seems to be about the length of the charge. But yeah, there you go. Hope that works out. All these little lava bombs in here. I can see them now that I got them painted white. All right, come on. Okay, I can't really tell what's going on right here, but I think this is all lava. We're gonna go with lava. Oh, well, that whole thing's gonna be. Alright, let's go back up over in this direction. Oh, I see. That's like a little lava waterfall right there. I'll get this first layer of primer, or this first layer of white on here, and then I'm gonna take a break and go find some food. I'm letting way too much paint dry in this brush. Alright, there we go, that's better. That's a little lava rock. See that? really hard to tell what's lava and what's not. It all kind of looks like lava in there too, I think. That's too round. That's gotta be a lava dome. Liquid hot magma. That's funny. to touch some of this up on the second coat, but well, this is gonna take a little bit longer than I anticipated. That's okay. That's just my belly talking. I am overdue for a break. I'm painting this statue like it's my job. Yeah, I don't want to have to do that. I mean, it would be nice, but that would be a cool way to make a living. Yeah, that's like a lava flow right there. It's too flat to be anything else. this is lava. Sorry, I'm turtling. These big spots I'll paint with the airbrush. I'll make this all lava. It's weird. Yeah, same here. I'm trying to just finish up this last little bit and then I'm gonna go do the same thing, DL. So yeah, let's go take a break. I don't know if I'll be back on tonight. I'll probably come back on tonight. I don't know. We'll see. See how I feel after I get something to eat. But yeah, definitely go. What is this? I'm coming up on 4 hours. Yeah, it's time. Honestly, all the rest of that's rock. Then there could probably be lava, but alright, now I'm just kind of speed run through the rest of this here. I don't want it to pool up in these little areas, that's the main thing. I was going to just airbrush this, but I don't want to change techniques and then it not look right, you know? I'd rather it all be the same. Of course, I guess it's not really going to matter once I get a second coat. This looks really shitty right now. I mean, you know, this is like one of those trusted process things. I know once I get a second coat, it will clear up a lot of this. Alright, now I think I definitely want to switch over to square brush. Alright, almost done. Or almost to a stopping point, I should say. Alright, I think that is going to be a good stopping point. Got kind of a rough outline of where all the little lava and stuff is. Alright, I need to stop. It's good enough for now. I'm gonna grab something to eat. It's 4:30. I may jump back on later. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how the day takes me. But thank you for hanging out, and I will catch you on the next stream.